Oh man. Let's do this, right? It's that time again. Let's get things going here. Right? Let's head right over here. And there we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is December 22nd, 2025. And we're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? We are closing in on the holiday. Tomorrow is going to be my last stream before the holiday. So tomorrow we're going to do our annual reading of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and of course, 'Twas the Night Before Die Hard. So that's coming up. I'll be broadcasting a little bit next week. Let me just double check the schedule. Yeah, next week I'll be broadcasting a bit. Hey, there we go. A couple more entries going in on the map. Yeah, things are a little tricky. I'm not sure if I'm going to broadcast on the 26th. I need to nail that down. But the 29th and 30th, I'm probably broadcasting. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Let me catch up with you in the chat room out there. There's the chat room. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. Let me say hello to our friends that are out here. Sharer, good to see you in Las Vegas. Hello, hello. C-Sharp Titan, good evening to you. Another month, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, that's right. Thank you so much. How you doing in Melbourne? I'm dealing with with a little bit of an ear infection, and I'm having a hard time hearing out of my one ear, but I've got some drops. We're working through it, and I'm going to see a doctor later today, so we'll see how that goes. Patty boy, hello to you in Glasgow, and Codebase Alpha, Birmingham, UK, Birmingham. Say it right. Don't say it like an American. That's right. Preparing for your brand new and first major Blazor app. Goes live in February 2026. Fantastic. Oh, good luck to you there. Final testing, bug fixing, styling tweaks. Very cool stuff, Codebase Alpha. Let us know how it goes and share your success with us when that goes live in February. That's very exciting to hear. Will also be followed by another Blazor app for internal staff that handles sending push notifications. That's cool. That's cool right there. How you doing, Sam? Good morning to you. So previously, we did a bunch of work on Tamil and this idea of the tab annotated markup language. I think I'm at a point where I'm ready to park that for a little bit, put a little bit of promotion, blog post, marketing behind it. Not spending any money. Dear Lord, I'm not spending any money. But I stood up a website. I've got an update for the Visual Studio Code extension that I'm just verifying, and then I'm going to get that promoted and out there. I have a script and content for a 5-minute YouTube video to record to promote that. Yeah, there you go, Tamil.net. That'll get you in and taking a look at the app, the syntax, the stuff, the stuff. So, and quite literally, I vibe coded the 5 pages there. It's hosted on GitHub pages. It's visible. Anybody can see the source code to it. Let me go over. You can see a little bit of that right here. Very simple website. I need to figure out a logo or something for it. I don't know. But quick example, getting started. I feel like I should put some syntax highlighting into this just to make it a little bit clearer. But like when folks see that level of syntax, it's right. It's so easy to read. Like it's not just easy to read, but all the things that make YAML a pain in the neck just fall by the wayside. So I'm actually pretty happy with how that looks. You know what I'm saying? So I need to do a little bit more here with the VS Code extension because it's listed here. It's in development, schema validation. I've actually rolled this into the VS Code extension. It was set up as a separate language server, and I'm like, just make it one thing. I think this is easy to do in online parser and validator because we've now got a JavaScript library. So if we've got a JavaScript library, hosting a website that lets you just drop in a document and verify that it is valid Tamil and show you that structure, I think is going to be really easy to do. So, and contributing, installation and usage, yeah. So I'm kind of happy with where this is. I updated, and I think I merged the configuration bits that we were working on. Let me see. Yeah, I did. So the configuration capabilities for .NET, there it is. So this works, and there's tests available for this. I also added, I added a GitHub, come here, a GitHub action that when there is a change to the .NET code, goes and runs all the .NET tests and will appropriately report back the results of those tests. And of course, yes, while writing GitHub actions, there's always the, well, it doesn't work this time, try it again. So, but you can see for the .NET tests, yeah, There you go. 180 tests that are run against just those two libraries. But it runs through and comes back very nicely. But I don't think that's right. That it runs in 0 seconds, that doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? It's 2 seconds here. And if I scroll to the bottom and we take a look at the actual report, like, it's 0.91. Like, rounding down isn't a great thing there. But I think we're in an interesting place with this running. The next questions are going to be, okay, let's get together some test scripts for the JavaScript and Python stuff. I did push out here a standards folder based on what I had in the old TAML repository, so that I could say, well, here's a test suite that says these are the things that you should be able to support. Standards and document history for this version. Here's a couple different documents that it should support. So, not bad. I'll leave it to you to go through and explore that a little bit. So I'll share that link over there. C# Titan with a question here. Are the VS Code extensions written in TypeScript? They are. So down here, actually, let's flip over to. I'm merging these right now, so there's only one folder. But this is all written in TypeScript. So you can. I vibe coded this. It looks like it's running properly. I need to rebuild and test a few things before I'm ready to say, yes, it's updated. Let's submit it to the marketplace and make that available. And until, right, I've got 4 stars on this project right now. Like, we'll nudge this along, and I'll make the extension available to install from here. But once we get to some critical mass, I'll publish it out to the VS Code marketplace. But for right now, it's a toy. It's something that we're exploring. There's actually a couple branches there that I need to prune. Hang on. Yeah, go back to the default branch. 9 branches. Hang on, let's prune a couple of these. How you doing there? Welcome. I merged that, so we can get rid of this one. Say it merged. The GitHub pages, that's good. That's one that we'll come back to. The idea of a schema. I did set up GitHub Copilot instructions. That's merged. You can see it there, merged. The .NET configuration, yeah, it is already. And okay, that's the C implementation. Okay, so I'm all right on those. So I'll tinker with it and we'll get somewhere. Yeah, I know you couldn't because it's already deleted. So, follow-up question there from C# Titan. Have the colleagues from Microsoft shown support? No. I haven't even shown them yet. So the Aaron, right? Aaron on the web saw, right? That's right. Aaron. No, it's a different Aaron. No, Aaron Thompson. Nope, different Aaron. My bad. I thought it was a different person. Nobody's really paid attention to it yet. So we'll push on this. We'll shake out some ideas and see where it goes. Is it something that Microsoft is going to adopt? Don't know. And it'd be fun if they did. It doesn't matter to me if they don't. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. But that's okay. No rush one way or the other on that. So, yeah. I think there's other things that we've been working on that they are more interested in, my colleagues, but no, this isn't really a thing. The idea here for escaping for tabs, quotes, and new lines, this is something that I need to decide when to merge in. and because it's going to break a bunch of things, and we're going to need to spend some time working it out because of the way that it stops the parser to create that multi-line effect. So it's something that's going to take a little bit of work, but should be quite valuable when we get through it. So the Charlie map is out here running. There we go. A bunch of our friends there. See, it's hard for me to get that last one in Melbourne on screen at the same time as some of the other ones. If I do that, I can bring that down. There we go. So we're in pretty good shape with the map. I did some tweaking on this over the weekend so that it stops double detecting folks. When the Restream bot cross posts over to YouTube, it was double detecting, and so we would see duplicate messages. I have that, I don't want to say rolled out, but updated and pushed through here. I did also push into Charlie. Oh, I started building the ability to do data-driven regular expressions. Like here, I'll maintain a list of regular expressions in a cache somewhere, so that as we have additional ways that folks greet us and whatever, I can add new regular expressions into the mix. Running the regular expressions, compiled regular expressions, to detect and report the locations that folks are watching from is so much faster than having the AI detect. While the AI extracting a location is like 95% accurate, it takes 2 or 3 seconds for that to come back. So 2 to 3 seconds versus 30 milliseconds to return it. It's not even a competition. They aren't even in the same ballpark. So I like using the regular expressions to do this, because even though I've got like 20 regular expressions that it runs so fast that I'm okay with that. Like, fine, go ahead, analyze all the messages with the regular expressions. It runs just fine. Hey, Ravnos, how you doing there? Codebase Alpha with a question here. What's the status of MyTag? I assume you haven't found time to complete the release. MyTag is a bit more sophisticated, and it's not something that I can just drop into and spend 15 minutes working on. Like, I need to spend 2, 3, 4 hours looking at it, because that ramp up time is a good half hour, 45 minutes. So as a side project, it is much more sophisticated, and I'm at preview release time, and it's just not there yet. Yeah, like I need a day when I can focus on just that. And the last few days leading up to the holiday, there is so much that I need to get done. It's not even funny for Christmas. Like, I need to get. I'm heading out to doctor's office tonight. I'm getting visiting the eye doctor, visiting the regular doctor, and I'm going to the shopping mall to get some of our custom hats made for the St. Jude redemptions. So, like, working on MyTag has been pushed to a lower priority. The only reason that Tamil's been able to advance like this is I throw things over to Copilot and say, go do this, go figure that out. So because I started on MyTag before I really hit my stride with Copilot, I don't trust Copilot to update and work with that source code as reliably as it is in maintaining and delivering features for Tamil, for CodeMedic, and so forth. Let me get some music playing in the background here. You know what? Let's go to the Stream Beats holiday music. Where is it? Stream Beats holiday music. I know it's here somewhere. It's here in my list. No? Am I going to have to look for this? Stream Beats. Yeah, thanks. Stream Beats Holiday music. There it is. No, not the. I'm looking for. Yeah, Stream Beats and Friends Christmas, and it is four songs. No, there was more than that. Hang on. Stream Beats Christmas. There we go. Excuse me. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Ooh, hello. And I'll start here on a North Pole arcade. It's a holiday flavored Stream Beats here. Check it out. Streambeats.com. All kinds of genres available. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. How you doing there, CTI Geek? So another question here from C# Titan. What was the reason behind the creation of YAML? YAML was right. These were YAML was created by folks who wanted something that was more readable. However, they've contaminated it with the insistence of spaces, the push to do child objects and arrays, and they've added more and more markup that it's slowly turning into JSON. Like, so that was one of the original reasons for YAML was, well, we want a more readable markup language, and they've navigated away from it badly. Trading Places is a Christmas movie. Yes, indeed. How you doing there? What was his name? Billy Valentine? Yes. So, and Winthorpe, how you doing? The Duke brothers cornering the market on frozen orange juice concentrate. Man, that was such a good movie. Trading Places. The few days before Christmas are always totally manic, and I am absolutely running into that right now. So one of the projects that I'm working on, and I'm keeping an eye out, making sure that Mom isn't here. I'm putting a Raspberry Pi into a Nutcracker, a Raspberry Pi 0, right? Get the website up, Fritz. Right, Raspberry Pi 0 W2. One of these jammies. Man, look at that thing. It is tiny. Tiny. Here's the thing, it's got a half a gig of RAM on that. Tiny. See? Half a gig of RAM. But it'll run .NET, right? So I've slammed a 64 gig SD chip in there, right? It's an XD chip. I've got the GPIO pins. I've got the header installed on that, right? I bought one that already had it soldered on. So what I've done, hang on 1 second here. So what I've got happening with this, it has Bluetooth on this also. So I have it connecting to my home wireless network. I have it on Bluetooth connecting to a tiny little wireless speaker. And I'm able to send music from the SD chip on this to my speaker. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this thing, hide it in the Nutcracker. Like, I'm probably going to end up sticking it on the bottom with an enhanced platform and a USB battery underneath of it, because this runs on micro USB power, right? I could plug in HDMI here. It's a micro HDMI. One second here. All right. So, I could plug these things in, but here's the deal. I can SSH into this. There's also a Raspberry Pi Connect service where this will connect to the wireless network, and it will allow you to screen share and jump right into it from a web browser. That's cool. So I was able to get in and deploy a simple Hello World console app built with .NET 10, and it works just fine on this. So my goal, I've got the GPIO headers here. I'm going to plug in an LED matrix. I've already got my speaker hooked up. So I'm going to be able to play music and have an LED light show going. But I need to figure out how I'm actually going to trigger those things. Like, do I just run it at startup and let this thing just play music and have a light show when I plug in the battery? Or do I leave it plugged in and have some way to send messages to it? I don't know. Like, in order for me to have a way to send messages to it, I need to have it join a network. Maybe it could join my phone as a network. And then maybe I have a web server sitting somewhere out on the internet that is putting together a queue of messages in an Azure queue somewhere, and it just downloads that queue. I don't know. So I've got to work out. Like, I got the base parts of this thing working where it plays music, and it'll run .NET applications. So I can do those two things. And I know how from a .NET application to play music. So I've got that. I need to work out the LEDs connecting and working, and that my .NET application can control the LEDs and make a light show. Robson Previato, good morning.
Previato just resubscribed for 20 months. Good morning, Fritz.
Hello. Thank you so much. So I've got to learn how to mount the LEDs and get them playing. And then the last piece, and it's the piece that I need to do sooner than later, I need to 3D print that platform and box that this thing's going to go into, as well as the battery, which I think is going to go underneath the Nutcracker. But my LED matrix, it's 8 inches long. It's like this. I want to put that in a little frame that's angled as a almost like a plaque in front of the Nutcracker standing up, right? So I need to figure out a way to print this and tuck that LED matrix in it, run the wires out the back of it and into the GPIO headers here, so that the Nutcracker is there playing his drum, and this light show that says Merry Christmas and whatever is lighting up and going by and doing all kinds of funny things. I just don't know. I don't know how I want to trigger these things. Yes, triggering LEDs directly from the I/O. Yeah. So I have an LED matrix that I can plug in to the I/O header. And I know there's a way to see the I/O header and turn on and off and set the RGB values for every one of the pixels on the matrix. Let me show you which one I got. Where did it go? I got, where is it? This one. I got to be careful what I show on the Amazon so that nobody sees gifts that I ordered. No, Rufus, you can go away. Yeah. So this is the one the panel that I ordered. So I can turn on and off each one of these LEDs, and it is 8 by 32. So it is rough. It's 12 inches wide. Now, the Nutcracker itself is only 3 or 4 inches wide. So it's gonna, right, I need to make this wider base for this thing to be inserted into. And, right, oh, yeah, let me move the thing over. So, yeah, zoom in, right? There is a female connector, a male connector over here, and then additional voltage wires. I don't know what I need to do with these. But, I have connectors to be able to plug these all in. Like, I don't know. There's, yeah, data input is the green wire. Power is, I forget which one. So, yeah, I'm running it off of a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, I just need to figure this out. I could run a mini pinball display. Almost. That's almost the idea, Lundo Spark. So, to recap, I have a Raspberry Pi Zero and a blank in a plain wooden Nutcracker that everyone in my family has one that we're decorating, right? My daughter has done an amazing job. She literally cut off parts of it and remolded them from clay. And I'm going to show and talk about that yet. So what I'm doing is I'm making mine into a light show music box. Raspberry Pi. No, I'm not driving the I/O. I'm controlling it. Yeah. So the Raspberry Pi that I have has the header over here, so I can just clip on. I believe I can just clip on these connectors appropriately onto the power and ground so that can run, right? I have a couple other LED strips, but they're too long and they're too big for mounting on the Nutcracker. My original idea was to put them up his legs and over his shoulder so that they look like, and kind of outline him. But it's just not gonna, it's not the effect that I was looking for. But this matrix, I'm going to set up as a screen in the front of him. And just like a little pinball screen. And I'm going to put messages that scroll by and different light effects and whatnot for the various songs that this will play through a tiny Bluetooth speaker that runs on USB-C. So I have a little USB. Oh, okay. So let me hang on. So I need to finish and figure out how I'm going to print this thing. No. Like, literally, my sister went to the local Walmart and got a bunch of... It's just a plain wooden... Yeah, unpainted Nutcracker. That's not even the right one. I'm trying to find it on the... She went to the Walmart website and just bought a bunch of these. Yep, that's it. Hang on. on now. There it is. I'm just going to reset my location on this so that it doesn't give away where I live. Here we go. So this thing, we each have one of these that we're decorating. It's not quite the same. The base on mine is a little bit wider. So I'm artificially making the base of mine wider and taller so I can stash the Raspberry Pi and a battery underneath. And I bought a really thin battery, like phone charger. And that's what I'm working on later today. That's going to be a lot of fun to finish, and I'll show it off here on stream when we get there. There's a new issue in the Tamil repository. What do we got? Logo? What do we got? Help me out here. What do you have? Like, I did a very simple... Okay, that's interesting. I did a very simple... Let me come back. It's in the GitHub Pages branch. Here. Oh dear Lord. There you go. I did a very simple this. So that, right, I could make it clear. Here's the tab, because sometimes less is more. I think that arrow's in the wrong direction. And what's the inspiration for the curve up there? The old tab soda can. So my thinking was to take advantage of the keyboard here. How you doing? So have I looked at Home Assistant? I have not. There we go. YAML has also been bent out of shape to be a CI/CD scripting language. Yes. Do I foresee the Pis will get an AI chipset at some point? It'll be a long while. Because those chips are really expensive. And the MO of the Pi is to be an inexpensive educational tool. So I don't think it's going to be there for a while because of how expensive the NVIDIA chips are, and some of the other, like an NPU is still a bit expensive to put into the mix on a Pi. It's not a bad idea. It's not there yet. Like, it's still expensive for folks to get their hands on those. So, let's iterate on this a little bit. It's a file tab, like a file folder tab. Okay, that wasn't where I thought you were going. I thought it was the white space that you were highlighting inside of a document. But as a file folder tab, I get it. Yeah. Don't do AI on the Pi. The Pi 5 is supposedly decent at running it. It's not quite there, though, for, like, regular processing and like, doing something more live. For learning from it, sure. But they want to keep the price point cheaper. Hey, Oakleus. With a question here. What's an NPU? This is an NPU, the neural processing unit. This is a chip that's been optimized to do language model instructions and to iterate and do those types of analyses, so that you can run Azure Foundry, you can run Ollama, you can run those tasks locally on your machine. So when you see the Copilot Plus laptops, they have an NPU, a neural processing unit on it, so that they can run requests and interactions with the language model better locally. My friend Seth Juarez loves the NPU on the Surface laptop. Like, he got one that was fully loaded. Spent his own money, 64 gig of RAM. The NPU, he's got 2 terabyte hard drive or whatever it is. He got it literally fully loaded, all the stuff, because he's doing building, rebuilding, training of models on his laptop. And he says, this is really good for that. I don't think the average person is doing that yet. I think it's coming, though. Those types of things are coming. So, can you install and run LLMs on a Raspberry Pi? Yes. Is it effective? No. We were running the Whisper model on Raspberry Pis 3-4 years ago for Clip Talk. Like, yes, you can do it. I would run I'm told that the mini models on a laptop, using those with the NPU, runs really nicely to do coding tasks. It's not easy to set up yet. I hope we get there, but running those mini models on a Raspberry Pi, doable. It doesn't respond fast enough for any kind of real-time interaction. Running as a background process to cache things, do analysis, and provide after 5-10 seconds, absolutely can do that. Does it nicely, but you have to wait for it. As an educational experience, not bad. Background processing capability, not bad. Something real-time that you're sending messages to? No. 64 gig of RAM in this economy? Right. The price of gig is just the price of RAM per gigabyte has just gone off the charts. It is ridiculous. Let me see. You can get an AI hat for the Pi. What do we got? AI Hat Plus. Yep, features an NPU. There you go. Neural Network Accelerator. Yep. 13 or 26 tops performance. It's suited for everything from entry-level applications. Hey, thank you for the follow. So, right, that's going to plug into your, your I/O headers there, and it looks like, what's the ribbon connecting it there? There's the camera. The ribbon. Okay. Right, how does it fully integrated into the camera? Conforms to the Pi Hat Plus. 16 millimeter stacking header spacers and screws. With the active cooler in place. Yeah, up to 50 degrees. Ooh. So, right, the spacers. I guess, can you still access the header on the bottom then? And it connects with the ribbon? I don't know. $70 is not bad. But does that need to be on a Pi 5? Yeah, it's a Pi 5. I don't have a Pi 5. I have Pi 4s. Oh, don't get me in on buying Pi 5s now. Let's iterate on that logo a little bit there. It's not quite where I want it to be. But I think you see a little bit of my idea with taking advantage of the gray tab key that you see on a Mac keyboard or on an old school IBM keyboard. So let's talk it through. I think there's somewhere between the two that we can land on. And if this takes off at all, you know I'm gonna make a hat. Seth is super smart. You're right, Sean. Brilliant. You're able to purchase a 64 gig system with 2 terabytes for about $1,500 before tax a year ago. Yeah, I know, John. Yeah, and the price is just taken off. Given that you don't have an NPU on your laptop, would 8 gig of VRAM and RTX 4070 be usable? Yes. Yes. 16 gig of VRAM and a 5080? Yes. I've run the LLM on my GeForce 3070 here, and it's been fantastic. So the ribbon's a PCI Express lane. Yeah, that makes sense, Shever. Okay. Yeah. You bought a Samsung 990 4 terabyte in November for $299, and now it's $419. Yeah. You have Pi 5s? What do you think of them? They're nearly up to desktop performance. This is what I've heard, is that the Pi 5 is impressive, particularly if you get the Pi 5, right? Welcome to Tech Toy Discussion. I'm your host, Fritz. Right, Raspberry Pi 5. 16 gig of RAM for 145. Now, first off, 145 is more than $100 more than the original Raspberry Pi was. However, you're also getting, it's still micro USB on the sides here, micro HDMI. But how many USB 3? Yeah. So, there it is, the PCI Express lane. Yeah. So you can, where do you put the M2? Where's the M.2 go? Are they saying put it here? No. I've seen folks like with a hat to do those. Yeah, there's a power button now. There's dual display? I thought it was just the one over there. So, active cooler. Yeah, I've seen folks talk about that. So, I'll be playing with this at some point, but not yet. Can you accelerate local models? You thought you need at least 16 gig on a video card? I agree. I think the Pi 5s are a little overpriced right now, but given the price on the RAM market, I'm not surprised. It is impressive, though. Yeah. Some hat with the ribbon cable. I think you're right, Frozen Matt. How you doing? Welcome in. It's 2 micro HDMI and 1 USB-C. Oh. Okay. The micro HDMI annoys me. Like, who has micro HDMI cables? I have 1 or 2 from my friends at the Raspberry Pi project, but yeah, the price has gone up significantly. I'm almost out of coffee, and that's not a good thing. You have a mini HDMI cable. I do as well for a portable screen. The micro HDMI I have from my Pi 400. So, yeah. You don't understand buying a maxed out Raspberry Pi for that money. You can get a new Geekom x86 PC with 10 times the performance. You might be surprised. The Pis are a little expensive here. So, they are. Yeah, so there's maybe there's a way to maybe it's too much to do this so it looks like the tab key with the arrow. I don't know. So, Frozen Matt, it's the bot's looking for some sort of a greeting that or some statement that says, "Hey, I'm watching from Australia," something like that, and it will place a marker on the map for you at whatever that's what you're working on now. Patty Boy, thank you so much. Patty Boy put together the logo that we use for TagZap. So there we go. In Perth, Western Australia. Fantastic. There you go. Drop a pin for you there. And look at that. We've got 2 Australian pins today. I think we did get you in Staffordshire, Lundo Spark. Right? There we go, Staffordshire, and it's kind of grouped them all together around Birmingham. So, right, and when I zoom out far enough, it just groups together all of the UK ones. So, and I might as well put my pin on here. Hi from Philly. There we go. It is OpenStreetMaps, yes. With so this is the Leaflet plugin, the Leaflet JavaScript library, and I'm updating it and managing it using Blazor, along with a .NET application that as it sees folks in chat mention a location, extracts that location. If we already know that location, it will grab the latitude and longitude out of my cache and plot a pin appropriately. If it doesn't know the location, it goes and bounces off of the Nominatum free geocoder, grabs coordinates, and places them appropriately. So, yep. Can't say you're a fan of JavaScript. JavaScript is a necessary evil for web user interfaces. You can't get away from it. It's the native language of the browser. So, that's okay. Yeah, it is. It is. So, and that's okay by me. Like, we'll work with that. So, all right. If TypeScript's the only way to do JavaScript, I'm a vanilla JavaScript person. I would be doing vanilla JavaScript if I could. So, those aren't the Gunner glasses that I'm looking for. Where are they? I know I took off my Pinnacle ones the other night, and they're on my bedside. Let's use these ones today. These are... Come on, give me the name for these ones. Oh, yeah, these are the Tony Stark ones. Let's do that. There we go. Huge fan of using F# and Fable. That's an interesting approach, too. Yeah. TypeScript is like C# for the browser before Blazor was a thing. I'm old school like that. Are they worth it to stop the blue light? Yes. But full disclosure, I am a Gunner ambassador. So there are links down below so you can get discounts and check it out. They have a 20, 30, 40. Go ahead, take a look. They have a 20, 30, 40 deal right now where you can get some of their premium designs for as little as $20. They're really, really good. Question from Lundo Spark here.
Original Alaska hat confirmed.
That's right. It is my original Alaska hat.
Developers,
why aren't you showing that text? Titus, hello, welcome. What would be the best way of running integration tests and playwright tests for an ASP.NET app with a Blazor front end in continuous integration? Do you have to host the app somewhere else and run the tests against that? I've done this with Aspire. Start the Aspire application, and I have samples of how to do this. It is very crude, but it will wire up and do it. It's in my GitHub repository, and I think there's more that the team can do to improve that story. I control-clicked and you didn't control-click there. You make me sad, repository. Firefox. I'm looking at repositories. Go find me my playwright stuff. I think this will get you a little bit of what? This will get you a little bit of the idea, but it's very crude at this point. So take a look, and that'll get you somewhere. It needs more work, but the ideas presented here work. Yeah, take a look. The XUnit test framework is the valuable part of this because it knows how to start and interact with the Aspire runner. So the Aspire distributed application runner. So that'll get you somewhere. I've been pushing on the .NET Aspire team to make that a little bit easier to use. The Chaucer version of my name? The Chaucer version? Let me see here. Can Aspire be used with a VB.NET app? Yep, sure can. Aspire can run a bunch of different frameworks and stuff. It's running on it's just running from the .NET runtime. It doesn't need to be a C# based app at all. So, yep, you can certainly run it with a VB app. So, oh, the spelling my name with a G. No, why would I do that? No. That's not my name. And Aspire does now support natively Python and Node in the box as well as C#. Rust is available as well, Go, and a bunch of other languages and frameworks. Probably can do PHP with it as well. But PHP. Ads are running on the Twitch channel. If you're watching on YouTube, no ads. Look at that, no ads. There we go. Moving on. When you get no. You can run take a look at peachpie.io. That will let you run PHP on top of .NET, and it runs really, really fast. Like, there are folks that are running WordPress on the .NET runtime so that you don't have string interpolation at runtime. Right? It's compiled, it runs, and it's really, really fast. So, yeah. These folks have been working and building this for 5-8 years now. And it's pretty good. I want to take my blog and get it running on this, because my blog is WordPress, but it's not a priority, so I haven't done it. I've got other stuff to do. All right, so I brought you up to speed on Tamil, so I'm going to record a promotional video about Tamil. I had Copilot generate a little bit of a, let me bring up I had Copilot generate a little bit of a script and a white paper for Tamil. Yeah, here we go. Hey, what are you doing in there? Banana? The dog. And I started trying to get it to generate an infographic, and it's not quite there. Where did it go? Yeah, this thing. Let me copy this. Let me just grab this message that Copilot generated. Here, I was actually working on the Visual Studio extension a little bit before stream. You go away. Same thing with you over here. Go away. You too. And this is what Copilot generated based on the repository. It's not bad. I kind of like it. So, it should have run the hat command there. I don't. Like, there. Yeah, there it is. Because it already ran it just a little bit ago. You've been looking into Ruby again? So, I've had a lot of folks comment and say, wow, you must like Python. Like, why do I like Python? Because of tabs. I don't get that. But I thought this was a nice write-up of comparing different markup languages, some visual examples, describing some of the benefits. Like, Tamil's indentation first layout mirrors how people naturally structure information. So non-technical users can understand Tamil documents at a glance. Like, that's a thing. So I think this was a nice one-pager. And I wouldn't mind turning this into like, get rid of this. Like, put this out as a one-pager, like sell your boss on Tamil type of thing. What is it? Oh, yeah. We'll get back to that. Save this thing. You don't know where to save it. I'm gonna put it here. And let's just call this. I don't have a docs folder yet. Just white paper MD. I don't know. That sounds good. And it's in this extension branch. I'll figure it out later. Like, that's a problem for future Jeff to deal with. Can .NET apps be compiled as a universal binary for x64 and ARM? Let me go to that question. Can .NET apps be compiled as a universal binary for x64 and ARM? Yes, that was the original intent of .NET apps, is compile it into bytecode, right? That will just in time be compiled to the appropriate processor and architecture that your machine supports. So you can still do that. We call that framework dependent compilation and deployment. So you can do ahead of time compilation so that it compiles all the way down to appropriate code that will run on a specific operating system, on a specific processor architecture. You can do that. the standard old school way to build .NET code, when you do just .NET build or .NET run, is it builds that framework dependent code, and you need a .NET framework installed and running on the target machine. And that framework that's installed and running on the target machine is optimized for that processor, that architecture, and it will appropriately, intermediate language. That's right, George. And it will appropriately, at runtime, just-in-time compile that intermediate language and deliver it. So bytecode, intermediate language, something between the two. So okay. Right, so here, let me show you right. So I added the little white paper into this about what Tamil is. We'll get to more of that later, because I'm going to record a video about that after this stream. I was surprised. Even our friend Sean Wildermuth took a look at Tamil. Much respect to Sean. I've had a number of great technical discussions with him. Yeah, he's a good guy in our tech community. But the way that folks who were new to our stream kind of lit up around Tamil when we were on the front page of Twitch last week, it encouraged me to throw a little bit more time at this. So this did merge. I'm merging the two, the language server and the what's it called? The Visual Studio Code extension. So it has one series of documents, one thing to install. You don't need to install multiple things. And it'll give you syntax highlighting, real-time error detection, warning system on spaces, configuration settings, enable, disable warnings and tracing, tab-based indentation enforcement, and line comment support so that it highlights properly. So, wouldn't Tamil also be a good token optimized notation? It is. It totally is. Right, let me bring... right, Tom's obvious minimal language, right? But that's effectively any files. That's any files. And don't get me wrong, I love this notation, but it's any files, and it's got a lot of extra markup in it, right? Part of the gag, the initial gag, right? The joke of Tamil was just how easy it is to read that. Like, if I turn off the white space markers, like, compare and where'd it go? Right, and put that up next to it. Come on, you move over. Right. It's not easy to read if you don't know English. Well, okay, come on. The ability to comprehend the various parts there, right? Like, right there is a child object, right? Right there is a child object. And it's easy to understand that the page has a type, has a required indicator, and has a default value. That's the feel of what we're doing with this. you don't have to use this. Nobody does use it right now. It's a what started as a goof that I think is actually getting more compelling the more that I look at it. Like, yeah, toggle render white space, right? Looking at that now, yeah. So, to throw a little bit of time at it to iterate, maybe grow something, maybe something comes out of this. I don't know. It's been a fun educational experience to invent our own markup language. Is it usable for different things? Well, I've set it up so I can use it now for configuration files for .NET. So that's a thing. Is it going to be interesting? Maybe. I don't know. We're growing and working on it, and we'll see where it turns out. Not everything that's educational or fun has to turn into something productive that the world uses. Learning a little bit about creating a Visual Studio Code extension, yeah, that's kind of neat. Right? Like, I need to create some images to go with this thing. Okay. We'll figure out an icon, an SVG icon, and pull some things together here. And then write the client over here. And I'll go through and learn more about this. Mads is your next user group speaker? Nice. Mads Christensen, he builds extensions for Visual Studio. So, right, I have a Visual Studio Code extension here. Does it make sense to build a Visual Studio extension? Yeah, totally. What about compression? Oh, come here, where'd you go? This compresses up really nice, right? Open in File Explorer, right? If I grab one of these and compress to, give me a zip file, right? So the original API documentation is 1.64K. It's 4 kilobytes on disk because of the size of that. And the zip file is 849 bytes. So it 50% compression. So the key thing about this, all that other markup that you would be compressing and getting rid of isn't there. So, how about syntax highlighting? I got you. Let's actually, here, tell you what, I'll actually build the Visual Studio Code extension. So, and install it. Like, why not? Right? It's in Tools, VS Code Tamil, and here, close that so we can see more of the command line. npm install, yep. I think I already have that. Of course, there's a security vulnerability. It's JavaScript. So I should be able to do VSCE, yeah, package. Really? Hey, Copilot. Running VSCE package. Returns this error. Oh, nuts. There we go. Fix it. So, hey, how you doing there? Anfa Squareshi? Welcome. This will do syntax highlighting. This extension. Yeah. Go fix that package, JSON. Oh, you think I can? Close this. No, close this. There we go. No. What do you mean I don't have TSC? npm install. Right? Is it TSC? Is that the name? No. Is it TypeScript? No. What is it I need to install for TSC? NPM needs to be NPM. Oh, npm install. Yeah, that's what I. Thank you. I was right. This is not the TSC command you're looking for. Okay. npm install TypeScript. Fine. Do it again. Nope. You done screwed up there, Copilot. Go build it again. There's lots of errors in the terminal when I attempt to run. Investigate and fix. I don't care. Go fix it. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't redirect. That feels like, right? That feels like somebody is like package squatting. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I'm out of coffee. The heck. So let it go fix those things. And then we'll be able to see syntax highlighting here in a bit. So enough about the Raspberry Pi. We talked about that. I was reviewing a Spirify post that I need to get loaded out there. Come back to that later. So yeah, it does. It feels like somebody is squatting on that package. It's an old release of the TypeScript compiler. Then fix it. Then fix it. Interrupt this amazing session for a coffee break? That's not a bad idea at all. I need your help, chat. So while this is going... What? Do you want to continue? Yes. Missing license file. There is a license file in the parent directory. Go get that one. I need your help, chat room. So one of the things, we hit a bunch of different redemptions and milestones on our fundraising here for St. Jude. And one of the milestones that we hit, thanks to a donation from Mama C Sharp Fritz, is a book on tape style recording of me reading a science fiction public domain book. There's a couple suggestions in a thread on the Discord. It's there on my Discord in the general forum. Take a look, comment, let me know if there's it needs to be public domain. I can't perform a copyrighted work. I can't read like Neuromancer or a Stephen King book. So comment, let me know if there's a public domain science fiction book that you'd like me to read. I'm looking for something that isn't longer than 6 hours to read. But I will be reading it live. I will perform it live on stream, so that there's the text of the book next to me as I'm reading, so that you can either listen to the recording and just listen to me reading, or you'd be able to watch and follow along as I read through the book, because you'll see the text right next to me on screen. But I need your help getting some suggestions of what I should read. So drop into the Discord. Let me know what you think. Can I grab a link to that entry in the Discord and just share that directly? Can I do that? Copy link. Is that going to work? It might work. That'll take you right to the thread in Discord, so that you can take a look, comment, let me know your ideas. We've bounced around the ideas of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Frankenstein, RUR, Starborn, The Time Machine. Let me know what you think. Throw some support on one of those ideas. This is going to be kind of a backdoor pilot type of thing, where we'll do this for a stream, and if it works, if folks like it, I'll record and do more of these. So let me know. Yeah, I am more than happy to do a series of book readings, recordings on stream, and make those available. All the volumes of Lord of the Rings, they're a little bit longer, Sean. Just a smidge longer than what I'm looking for. Copilot's got some results right here for me. Let me jump back over to the Copilot. So what I'm building, I gotta fix those YouTube avatars, man. What I'm building is this idea of a new markup language that's only tabs and new lines. That's how you define the structure and the content of your document. There's some other exceptional characters for extenuating circumstances: nulls, empty strings, comments. But your data is just your data with tabs and new lines. And we have Copilot fixing and putting out here a Visual Studio Code extension that I should be able to install now. So let's close this, John. That's right, I said John. Open a new terminal, and I'll jump over to that folder and here, and we should be able to install the extension. Womp womp. Where is it? It's right there, Tamil-020. No such file or directory. What? Code, install extension. Okay. So let's reopen VS Code. So now my test extension should be installed here. So if I go back over to one of the example documents, sure, cloud infrastructure. Take a look at that. So Lundo Spark was saying, hey, what if we had a syntax highlighter? Syntax highlighting. Boom. Right? Not just that, but if I put some spaces in there, it should show me an error. It's not showing me an error. Is it down here? Problems. Activation event can be removed. Okay, fine. It should be showing that as an error, and it's not. It's a first crack. Like, we'll do that. But does it have syntax dehighlighting? No. So, the rainbows there, that's from a different plugin. Second draft of the logo? Ooh, okay. But it looks easy to read, and the syntax highlighting, in my mind, makes it even easier to read. Like, key value pairs, keys are in red here, the values are in blue. Like, that's nice. That's nice. It's supposed to show. Chokes a little on the IP addresses. Where's the IP addresses? Yeah, because it's trying to see it as a number. That's something we can fix. Look, it's a first pass that was generated by Copilot. That'll be easy to fix. He's drinking. Copilot can fix it. Yep. So, like, as a initial idea to be able to generate a VS Code extension, I'll take it. You know? I don't want the out folders. But push that one up. Sure, I'll take a package lock. I don't mind that. Take you, this one, that one. Not that one, no. Yes. Yes. And these are all out folders. Right? Like, sure. And publish that. So if you want to take a look at what I've built, how it can be installed, and eventually I'll generate a GitHub action that builds this and publishes it as a binary that you can install from the GitHub repository. We're getting there. So it's something fun. So let's see what we have over here in the issues. Updated logo. Second draft. Tab key with the text replace. Yeah. I'd like it to be a little more... It's photographic quality. But I think we would like it to be just solid colors, animation quality, so that it's easier to put into... SVG and other things. Like, photographic quality looks cool, but the usability of it, I think we would prefer solid colors so that it looks more arrows on the other side and text in line with the middle of the two arrows. Morris, I was going to go there as well. So put the arrows over here and align the text in the middle. A little bit less on the top. And go from photographic quality to illustrated quality. Above and below, but elongate them. Do I have... This is a dirty keyboard. My goodness. This is a spare keyboard I have under my desk. So going... All right, let's see if we can... is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Like, let's... Right. Longer, but just underneath. But if it was Tamil... That's not bad. That's not bad. And black... black is a little harsh. Versus, right, I tried to do the gray in the gray keys of the Mac keyboard. No, I like the idea of replacing the word tab with Tamil. I do like that. Let me just add those couple bits of feedback. We'd prefer illustrated quality with solid colors. That way the image will also compress down easier, and we can put it into SVG as well. I like the idea of a tab key. Could we use the Mac keyboard gray tab key? Longer arrows and let me add that for now. Tab key image. That's not bad. That's kind of what you were going for, but you haven't. That's what you were going for right there. But I think I like it either like this. That's not bad either right there. But the black is just a little harsh. Have we officially reached that's a 2026 problem? I don't mind iterating on this. That one, I think that's kind of where we were going a little bit. But instead of tab, Tamil. And I like the gray for that. Just because it's less harsh, right? There's something about black. You took a photo of your HP EliteBook keyboard? Yeah. That's a nice keyboard. But the black is just a little on the nose. Right, it's a little... It's a 2030 problem if you put it off. How you doing, Frackberg? So, it's a fantastic concept, right? And that's probably really close to, or that. Yeah. something like that. So, let me see. What else? What else did I want to get to? I wanted to get back over to CodeMedic. So there you go with the syntax highlighting. And I think that looks dynamite, really. Couple things to fix there, no doubt. Check out happy medium between gray and black. Share a photo in Discord or somewhere. In Discord? That's not bad. That's not bad. Yes, it does. I just copied it. The other thing that Napalm is kind of pointing out here that I like, all lowercase. That's a touch. That's a touch. And that's more of a navy, isn't it? That color key. That's not bad. Robert Tables makes a point of saying that making things all black or all white can be a little harsh, right? A little bit harsh on the eyes. But something like navy, it doesn't need to have the surface like that. Can go somewhere. You generated a few issues in CodeMedic? Man, Patty boy, you are too good for us. You are too good for us. Provide assistance with updating packages. Be clear about transitive dependencies. Need a title of project under scan. Yeah. No doubt. That's not bad. That's not a bad idea. Clear about transitive dependencies. When a dependency is marked as transitive, indicate which top-level dependency it is transitive through. So, what brought it in? Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. You've been using CodeMedic to scan your own repositories. Okay, cool. The bill of materials indicates packages are behind, indicate where there may be conflicts when updating to latest versions. That's not bad either. Reminds you of the Amiga. Lovely gray background, not a dark mode, but not bright either. Yeah, right? Subtle, soft, and to the point. Yeah. Like, that's not how you spell that. Go get the image for that. Where is it? This one. Right? Like, I could totally see, right in the softness of that gray is a thing. But I could totally see putting just that tab key with Tamil on it. I could totally see putting that on a hat. Yeah. But that's coming. That's down the line. That's fantastic, Patty Boy. Thank you so much for trying and giving us feedback from real use of using CodeMedic on your applications. So, yeah. So there is something to that lowercase. There is something to that. Lundo Spark. How the whole hat gimmick? How did that start? So it started when I first started streaming. I was looking for something that would be silly and fun and set me off from other streamers. And I saw other streamers were doing things to put logos and brands, and when they had a sponsor with something, they had a logo on screen. You see me do that with the Gunner logo, and it's kind of on the nose. It's a little much there, but that's their shtick. And it felt like a lot. And way early on, I've always had a thing where I do like hats. I'm a hat person, and I thought, well, if I wear a different hat on each stream, then when you go back and look at the streams, you can look at what hat I'm wearing, and it might help to click and help you remember, wait, Fritz wasn't wearing the Alaska hat. He was wearing the Super Mario World purple ghost hat, right? He was wearing the Wrexham Football Club hat, right? And so on and so forth. Right, I remember seeing him wearing a whatever hat, and that might trigger and help folks to remember a stream that they're looking at. It also becomes a talking point, and that's kind of fun as well. So it started as me just sharing how much I enjoy. How much I enjoy wearing different hats. Gives me an opportunity not to have to comb my hair in the morning. It's kind of spun into, well, let's put a logo on a hat. Like, I'm wearing a St. Jude t-shirt right now, and I do realize I have a bit closer camera than many folks do on Teams or other things. But that's also because I want you to appreciate that I'm paying attention to you, and that I'm at that closer level. Like, if I backed up the camera, right, so that I was somewhere out at this level, like, don't get me wrong, you can see more of that top third, but you can't see my face. Like, my face is now much further out. And it's much harder to see the hat. So right when I'm in close like this, right, the same thing over here, right? You can actually see a little bit more of me, and it's not, hey, look at all of me. You don't want to see all of me. You don't care about my midsection and whatnot. Like, well, maybe there's some of you that do, but that's a different thing. So, yeah, the hat became just a way for me to show support for different things, for me to show off something that I enjoy collecting, and quite frankly, it's become its own funny thing. And folks at work, there are comments on the different hats that I bring and how many hats that I bring when I go to Seattle, when I see folks when I'm traveling. Like, the ball caps are a very American thing. So it is kind of like showing off that I'm American when I'm outside the States. But it's become a bit of my signature appearance. That and the rainbow beard. My gosh, the reaction to the rainbow beard is that a thing or what? So, Like, I had somebody in Microsoft marketing say, can you color your beard a funny color for this event that we're hosting? Okay. So I did it for one a couple years ago, and every now and again, hey, can you do the colored beard for something? The sparkly blazer became, right, a fantastic way for folks to see that we're excited and encouraging the Blazor UI framework. So there was a writer in the UK that was, right, a tech writer that was writing an article about Blazor and was watching my video training series where I'm wearing my purple blazer, and I forget what they called me, like Mr. Magical Blazer or something, Mr. Purple Jacket, or I'm like, okay, that's cool. So that's fine by me. If that causes you to smile and enjoy the content that I've created, job done. Job done. You remembered the content and you had a good time working, reading, taking a look at some content. Fantastic. I don't need to do anything else. I have met my goals. So if I can wear hats with funny logos or interesting logos, something that's fun and relative to what we're talking about, cool, I'll do that. Doesn't bother me. Especially my Penn State We Are hat. Like, in my mind, right, that hat, the idea of we are is so inclusive, so welcoming. We are. Everybody's welcome. We are working on something together. We are having a good time. We are glad to see you. We are. It's the right thing to show that we're a community and we're a fun place to hang out for anybody and everyone. I don't care what your background is. I want to learn more about you. I want to hear more about your experience. We're happy to see you. Ohio State fans need not apply. Well, I don't know. They are kind of nutty. So, or those folks from the state just north of them. I don't know about that one either. But the idea of we are, while it is a Penn State University thing, Pennsylvania State University thing, and it is something that I absolutely enjoy as part of my educational history. I think it's definitely something that applies in many, many other places in ways that, quite frankly, our society needs to get its act together and embrace this us versus them garbage that is constantly going on around everything, every topic. Stop it. Stop it. You want to have a rivalry over something? You talk about Yankees versus Red Sox. Talk about United versus City. Talk about what have you, right? Flyers versus Penguins. Penn State versus Pittsburgh. Army versus Navy. You want to talk about a rivalry? You want to have a rivalry with somebody and be able to shout down and have a good time arguing about your preferred whatever it is versus theirs? There's plenty of fun rivalries around sport, around food that you can do that with. But this nonsense around every single thing that's going on in our lifestyles in our world, shut up. Shut up. We are a society. We are a culture. We are a group of folks that want to live our best lives. Why do you need to oppress somebody else? Billionaires versus hundredaires. Exactly. Come on. Come on. They just want to be able to get a good meal, enjoy the holiday with their family, have fun on the weekend. That's all anybody really wants. So, Happy holidays, Corey. Great to see you. Hello. Your mother-in-law gifted you a I married into this Penn State shirt. My son-in-law was gifted one of those as well. He told someone today it starts with basic respect and decency. Corey, amen. Where'd that go? Right there. Yes. We've got a lot of work to do. Totally. Totally. And quite frankly, we need to call out folks who don't. And I'm looking at you, mass media, typical, the standard media. Stop giving space to people. Something here. Uh-oh. We're dropping frames like crazy all of a sudden. The media just censored me. Yeah. Wow, that timing. Right? Restream just took a powder. What happened there? And it's gone. And we're back. How we doing? Yeah, the timing of that is pretty dubious. That is pretty dubious. In an El Salvador prison. Am I going to stream tomorrow? Yes. Yes, I am. Look, don't get me wrong. There are bad folks in the world that that need to be handled, but there's also bad folks who are trying to enforce laws and things that aren't abide by their own laws. That's a problem. Waiting for a JavaScript dev to say it must have been a C# program. Is tomorrow night? Yes, tomorrow we'll do the night before Christmas and night before Die Hard. Bad folks who don't use C#. No. No. Bad folks who use PHP. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. Totally kidding. I do enjoy picking on PHP a little every now and again. Bad folks who use YAML. That's a thing. Hey, PyroCat. Evil PHP users. Gosh. That's a thing. In before Fritz is canceled for his PHP views. No, I happened to mention Voldemort and the line happened to cut. Like, that's a problem. So yes, I do plan on streaming for a little bit tomorrow. And who does care about languages? We're all just moving bits. Use the language that makes you happy. I'd love if you tried out the languages that I support and promote. If not, that's okay too. But it's okay to disagree. But it's not okay to go off the chain and attack people for it. Like, come on, really? We're all flipping bits like pancakes. It violates several laws? It does? Like what? There's no cake in the break room. What languages do I support and promote outside of C#? Well, SQL, HTML, right, the web stack. So, yeah. Totally agree, Lundo Spark. That is a fantastic point. Thank you to the moderator that clicked that through. Yeah. It's okay to disagree with folks' opinions. That's okay. If we all agreed, oh my gosh, it'd be like Pluribus. Have you seen Pluribus on Apple? That's an interesting show. You stop caring about what language is better than another, the same time you stop caring what operating system was best. Exactly. Like, come on now. Did I see the fake image of Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman fighting off a Nakatomi Tower Lego set? Yes, I did. That's so good. The language that gets the job done correctly. I totally agree. Nori Green. Yes. You have seen some of my F# stuff, and it was ugly. I had a real hard time with the F# stuff. Pluribus is really good. Final episode is coming out on Christmas Eve on the 24th, Wednesday. So, Visual Basic. So, Visual Basic is a fun language. Case insensitive. Lots of good enterprisey features there that make it easy for non-developers to read and use. No doubt. Fell out of favor. I think there might have been some gatekeeping there that caused it to fall out of favor. F# and you never got along. Yeah, I had a real hard time with it because of how opinionated F# is. Not just about white space, but about how you use some of the things in the language. Scratch, that's impressive. Yes. VB6 was your first non-browser language. Yeah. VB6 was my second or third language. Third, probably. Basic on the Commodore 64 was my first language. Logo was my second language. I won't say VB6, but I'll say Visual Basic, because I started using it in VB4. And D.D. Walsh reminds me that she was the program manager of Visual Basic at that time. So I was literally using her product as I was learning. Much respect to D.D. and everything that she accomplished. My goodness. As a leading woman in technology from the 90s, early 90s, through till now, building programming languages, building products, building her own tech company, and driving that. An amazing personality that has done a ton for our technical community. Yeah, Dee Dee is phenomenal. I learned a little bit of Java after VB6, and then I got into C# and never turned back. So, you think Delphi is the oldest language you've ever used? Delphi's back there. I learned Fortran in college as well. That was like the fourth language I learned. Like, I had to learn Fortran, but I already knew Visual Basic, and I'm like, what the hell? Why are we doing this? Logo was your first, then Basic. There you go. And they're so close, Logo and Basic. So, building your own tech company in Visual Basic is definitely impressive. So, yes. Yes. I remember going to .NET Core launch London event, maybe 2002, 2003-ish. What's that? I don't remember. No, that would have been the .NET launch event, not .NET Core. 2002 would have been .NET Framework, not .NET Core. Yeah, .NET Core was 2015, 2016. So, like, I literally joined Microsoft because I wanted to work on .NET Core. They called it Project K at the time. And the user interface language was Project Aurora. And we were working on that. And that's 10, 12 years ago now. So, VB6 is used in building the Horizon Post Office IT system. If it works, it works. Nothing wrong with that at all. Yes, Project JSON files. Yep, that was a Project K thing. So they wanted to emulate things that were going on in JavaScript and other languages to define packages and things that you worked with. It's not that it didn't work. It's that it was overly expressive. Like, you had to define all of your transitive dependencies in there. So, yeah. I'm not sure how much longer I can stay on here because I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I'm having a problem with my ear, and man, it's hurting. You would like a Project Tamil and Solution Tamil file. Well, since the compiler is open source, there's no reason that you couldn't. But we did write we have a configuration object now. You can have an app settings TAML and make that a thing. So, yeah, that's doable. It's possible. So, what song is this? Workshop. All right. Thoughts on the new SNLX format? I think it's a great format. I think it's a great format. I think it is going to help simplify and make it easier for some of the source control issues that folks have with managing solution files, because the solution file isn't a standard format, XML, JSON, something like that. It's its own thing. So this, I think, is going to help to clear up and make it easier to manage solution files. So, yeah, it does need to still be XML because of backward compatibility, Visual Studio capabilities, these types of things. Like when you look at how Microsoft manages structures of files and syntax of files, keep in mind there is a very strong affinity to backwards compatibility. And that's why we ended up with project files again for .NET instead of project JSON, because backwards compatibility. Visual Studio knows how to read and write and work with build files, project files. The compiler, right, MS Build, knows how to work with XML files. So if you're going to have compatibility and you're going to help people migrate, having folks completely change syntax of these things, you don't need to change to this, but you can. There's an upgrade path in Visual Studio. Having that backward compatibility is of the utmost importance so that you can encourage folks to migrate to the new, more useful, more expressive format that is then easier to manage. So, the Horizon Post Office scandal, I'm not familiar with that. How many people died in it? Involved the post office pursuing thousands of innocent sub-postmasters for apparent financial shortfalls caused by faults in Horizon. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Wow. Took their own lives. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the problem with VB6 is that it wasn't inherently testable. It was really hard to write unit tests for VB6. So now you can with Visual Basic and C# because of the structures of applications. It makes it easier to do. So 12 to 15 took their own lives. My goodness. That is awful. Wow. I'll have to read more about that at some point. That is. It is. It's Restream struggling to keep up today. Look at that. And we're back. Copilot is coughing up furballs trying to get your Tamil key right. Oh no. Yeah. You should be back now. You worked in VB for 10 years, used VB for DOS, which most people don't even know existed. Yeah, that was a thing way back. I was a VB6 developer until 2004. So like 1999 till 2004, I was a VB6 developer, professional VB6 developer, getting paid, working. Yeah. And at the time, if you knew VB6 and you knew it well, you could pick and choose where you'd like to work because so many businesses were using it. So, and ASP, classic ASP was a thing. So, I do think I need to end it here because I'm getting some real ear pain here, and I need to step away and do something about this. So my apologies. We didn't get into any real coding things today, but we did take a look, and I showed you how we generated an extension for Tamil for VS Code, and we'll do some more with that in the days and weeks ahead. We're going to do some more work on CodeMedic. I have a couple of videos that I want to record to show some of those things, but let me set you up for a raid. If you're watching on Twitch, get you over to somebody else who's doing something cool. Let's go over to what do we got here? Let's go over to Alicia Griffin, who's attempting to learn Blender. That sounds cool. So Alicia Griffin. And I spelled it wrong. Darn it. There you go. I hope you join me tomorrow. We'll be back here streaming, and we're going to do our Night Before Christmas reading. And of course, 'Twas the Night Before Die Hard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to folks. We didn't have any donations today, but thank you to all the folks that have supported our fundraising for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital this season. I'm always flattered as we grow and we help out as a community. We help out the folks at the hospital there. All right. Let me get you ready to go see our friend Alicia. And for those of you on YouTube, I've got more videos down here, over here. I've got 3 or 4 videos that I'm going to finish editing and publish today, tomorrow, that talk about Tamil, talk about some of our progress in CodeMedic, and get that growing and out there. All right? Have a fantastic rest of your day, wherever you might be. I wish you good health and good coding this holiday season. Take care.